Very exciting. How are we finding the weather today, ladies? Very warm.
Definitely a bit warm, isn't it? So
Yeah.
after this, go for a little walk, I think.
Yeah, most definitely.
Loving the sunshine, but looking forward to an ice cream. I think I'm going to treat myself to one of those afterwards.
Oh, I might have to treat myself to an ice cream too. They have definitely put up the aircon a little bit too high in the office again, so I am a little bit shivery, strangely, but I cannot wait to go out into the sun. But yeah, we'll just wait a few seconds and just make sure everything's kicking off, and then I think we can start. Great. I think we are live. So, hello everyone, and welcome. This is the Ask Me Anything session from the fundraising team, and I just want to welcome you to this quick snippet, which is hopefully going to help you all out there. Anyone who has any questions, my name is Tanya. I work in the fundraising team in community and events fundraising, so specialising in those roles. Would you both like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Catherine and I work in the fundraising team as well. I specialise in philanthropy, so all things major donors and trusts and grants fundraising.
And I'm Dawn. I've been working with charity people for about 18 months now with a 10-year history of recruitment, but always doing community and events. That's my area and I love it.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. So what is this Ask Me Anything session? So this is an opportunity for candidates and clients and anyone considering a career in the charity sector to ask us anything. So anything recruitment related, anything about career development, current market trends, interview tips, EDI, which is really important. So many questions. We want to keep the forum as open as possible. We're going to look to do this about every 2 months as well. And how it will work is 2 to 3 weeks before the lead up of the event. We will submit an Ask Me Anything link on our LinkedIn post. And you can submit your questions in the comments, or we will have a link where you can submit that anonymously. So please do get your questions in for any future events that we have online as well. So the first thing we really want to do is start off with an overview of the fundraising market as a whole and current market trends for individual income streams as well. So I asked the fundraising team about what sort of trends they're seeing across the fundraising. So we're all just going to feed in our comments. But some of the things that we're noticing at the moment is an increase of applications near to the end of August, which is really exciting. So
are people actually starting to come back from their summer holidays?
Finally. Yes, finally. It did get a bit quiet at the beginning of August, but definitely more movement, and people are definitely looking for new roles. So a lot more active searching for jobs, which is great, and more applications on job boards are we seeing, ladies?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Feel, isn't it? Everyone's looking for something new, I think, in September.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And we're definitely seeing a lot of confidence post-COVID as well, for people wanting to sort of take that jump and move into something new. What we're also seeing is an increase in jobs being advertised as well across the board, which is nice. So a good time to be job hunting for sure. And so, yeah, I would definitely say we're seeing a lot more jobs out there on the job boards and so on.
And a lot more variety of jobs as well. There is a lot more outside of the box thinking. I think sort of post-COVID, everyone's got a bit more of this, if we're agile, we can survive anything that happens. And therefore, we're seeing a lot more roles now that are coming out that are a little bit different to before. So, yeah, that's always interesting too.
Fab, great. And then what I'm also seeing as well, I think this comment actually came from one of our regional consultants, is we're seeing that more commercial candidates are really starting to consider a career in the charity sector. But what that means is there is a bit more need for longer notice periods for reasons such as waiting for commission payouts. They also need to reconsider in terms of advertising the role, looking at out of sector candidates and how they change the process as well. So is it fair? Can we substitute evidence instead of asking for fundraising specific examples is really, really key to sort of getting those out of sector candidates to move into fundraising as well.
Yeah, what we find is a lot of people are like, yeah, we're open to transferable skills. And then in the interview, it's give us an example of your fundraising income that you brought in. So yeah, thinking a little bit more outside the box. And again, we're there to sort of help talk people through, our clients through that, and try and help candidates find those transferable skills to kind of match that up to give everyone the best shot at getting this new blood in.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And I think in such a competitive market, it's really important to ask yourself if you are looking to recruit new candidates into your team, sorry, new people into your team. Are you striving to do better when you know it's hard to attract candidates? So, are you really thinking about being more flexible, being more open into candidates outside the sector? What more could you be doing? So one of the things that you pointed out, Catherine, actually is about the sort of flexibility behind 3 or 4 days. You're seeing more of that as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing more of it, definitely in philanthropy, which is great. That's so much of what I get told when I'm talking to candidates is that's what they're really looking for. People are not just looking for a specific salary and a job. They really want the whole package. They want job satisfaction. They want to know that there's flexibility around a family or other commitments. They want to know that they don't have to be in the office for 5 days or even 3 days. And that sort of flexibility is definitely key for people still, which is great. I think it's nothing but positive.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it definitely goes to show that when you are advertising a role, can it be considered to be 4 days? If you were going to go out with a 5-day-a-week role, could you open up the funnel a little bit more and welcome candidates who are looking for those 3 or 4 days a week? Or could it even be a job share is another thing.
Yeah, they're becoming a lot more popular now as well, aren't they? And we've seen some real
Yeah.
successes there within the Charity People team and people that we've placed. So that's exciting too. And again, consolidated hours, 5 days in 4 and things like that. Like just thinking outside the box really helps to make things more accessible for people.
Yeah, most definitely. One thing that I'm noticing, going off the back of this, that adverts do really need to be more engaging. Benefits are becoming so important. It's one of the first things that a lot of candidates ask us as well.
Yeah.
So essentially put those on the advert to just be open and clear from the beginning what those are. And I definitely think salaries really need to be more competitive, especially if you're getting those out of sector candidates, but even just people aren't really sidestepping as much anymore. People are looking for a step up as well, salary included. So salary expectations are increasing from strong candidates, and it's harder to negotiate at offer stage as well. Another thing that we noticed is the shift towards being back in the office more. So both for interviews and also an expectation for the role. It used to be 2 days in the office, 3 days at home, but I am seeing a lot more 3 days in the office, 2 days at home as well. And another thing, I think the final thing that I wanted to mention is that a lot of the candidates that I'm getting quite a lot of candidates who I'm speaking to who are moving on after being oversold a role. Now, this is really, really important. I think, if you are advertising a role, it's very, very important to be open and honest about what the role entails, because they will find out after they've been in that role for a few months that it's I think I am seeing that people want more responsibilities, people want more opportunities and reasons to the opportunity to personally develop. If you're not offering that, but you're saying that this role is going to do that, and then suddenly it's closing them in a box,
I had a really
they are going to move on.
a really interesting conversation with a candidate the other day who was like, if they'd have just told me what the challenges were, and I would have gone, I was still keen on the role. I just wanted to know so I could go in with my eyes open, rather than, so things that you think are your internal challenges might be someone else's great opportunity to shine and develop. So openness and honesty from clients and from candidates to get that best match is going to be key. Otherwise, it all just falls apart a few months in.
That
Exactly.
is such a good point. Right, shall we jump into our first question? So we've had some questions, which is brilliant. Thank you. There's two that are quite similar that I'm going to roll into one. So the first is advice for someone at the start of their fundraising career. What routes are there into the sector as a graduate? How can you develop your knowledge and add value to your charity as a newbie? And then the other question, which is so similar, is I'm considering a career move into the charity sector or fundraising space. However, I'm unsure as to what area to consider as a first step. I currently work in a startup, but would like to have a much better work-life balance with a job with purpose and social impact. So we obviously see these people day in and day out, loads of people really dying to get into the sector, which is amazing. I thought I'd share a bit about my journey into the sector. So I come from a fundraising background, and I was in fundraising for about 14 years. And I actually started out as a temp on the sports events team at what was then Leukemia Research. And so I would say that that is a brilliant way in. If you can find some temp work in a charity that has a fairly decent sized fundraising team, it's an amazing opportunity to really sink your teeth in, to get a real understanding of what a fundraising role actually looks like, make yourself really useful, talk to everyone you can, ask everyone for a quick 5-minute chat and find out about what they love about their job or what they hate about their job, and work out where you think you would fit best in that. The other thing I really want to flag up is the hashtag non-graduates welcome. It's very important to everyone at Charity People. We're so passionate about EDI. You do not need a degree to work in the charity sector. If you've got a degree, that's great, and you've got loads of transferable skills, but you do not have to have one. So that's something I'm very keen to talk about. I know we all
very, very passionate about that, for sure.
What would you guys say about how to get your first start in the charity sector?
So I would definitely suggest volunteering for sure.
Yeah, that's what I did to get in.
Yeah, so as a graduate, I'm very passionate about getting more young people into the sector. It's a piece that me and my colleague Gabby are really very passionate about as well. And Dawn, I know you're really, really passionate about it too. But really, when you're from a young age, from school, college, university, get into volunteering. Any opportunities that you can to really get involved in any kind of charity work, getting involved in planning events, anything at university. We look at all of that stuff when we consider applicants to put forward to roles. It really shows initiative, really shows you're enthusiastic, and that's the kind of personalities that we're looking for in fundraising. So definitely look at volunteering. When I was at university, during my summer break, I worked for a summer program for a youth and community program. So really about getting involved in at any opportunity that you can.
Yeah, the importance, I think, of volunteering is not even just the volunteering role that you're doing, but it is meeting the teams and finding out more and how they go about it. And just, again, you don't know who you're going to cross paths with in that, to find out some little bit of information that will really help you go far.
Yeah, and I would say for the person who's considering a career move into the charity sector, have a real think about your transferable skills. So some of the key skills that we look for in fundraising is relationship building and really strong communication. So depending on your current role, you probably do that already. And then also have a think about the area of fundraising that you're most keen on. Obviously, each area of fundraising is very different skills. So for my area, philanthropy, you need to build relationships with high net worth individuals. So if you do that already in your job, but you're asking them for something completely different, those skills are brilliant and 100% transferable. So just really sit down and work out what those transferable skills are. And if you're in any doubt, contact one of us, because we love talking about people looking to get into the sector. And yeah, I would always recommend try and find a really good recruitment consultant, and they will definitely help you.
Yeah, and when it comes to sort of sending your CV in and things, really highlight those elements. Like if we've got to search on a CV to find your transferable skills, that's going to put you at a disadvantage. So, start by saying, I'm really interested in the charity sector, my values align. This is why I'd be good in this role there. And that really helps us. And obviously, once you've got our attention, we've got your back to support you through that. But it is tricky. Like it can be tricky to get your first role in the sector, and it can be tricky to transfer into it. But keep at it, because the charity sector needs more young people and more people from outside the sector. Definitely. And we're here to help.
100%. And then, let's move on to the final question.
Oh, yes. So what we get as a lot, and I joke a little bit, so it was really interesting that this question came through. I joke about people, like as a recruiter, I'm more counsellor than I am recruiter, because I'm supporting people that are going through a really difficult time trying to find a new job. Not always difficult, but usually, it's competitive. It takes a lot of time and energy. So this question really resonated with people that I've been dealing with recently, which is, what advice have you got for job seekers who are struggling to find a role, as I'm finding it mentally draining? So we really recognise that it's hard, and it can be sometimes lonely as well. I know, when I've been job seeking in the past, your friends and family are all very enthusiastic, as are you. But as you go, I didn't get that one. No, I didn't get that one either. It becomes really difficult. So I think, still use your friends and family, like recognise that, it's hard for them to know sometimes what to say to support you, but also use, again, if you're working with recruiters, like work with us, and we'll have your back. And it is sometimes just about being positive, keeping going, doing all the things that you can do to get there eventually. But you guys, what are your thoughts?
I was just going to say, another thing is, don't leave it until you hate your job to find a new job. That's when it becomes really pressured and can become a real task. I think it's a real good idea to keep an eye of the market, even when you're happy in your role. Just see what's out there, see how things are changing, have that good relationship with a recruitment consultant who can call every now and again and have a check-in and say, how are things looking? What's the market looking like? And so you've always got an eye out. And when that really great opportunity comes along, which matches you to a T, then you can jump for it. But don't wait until you're very, very unhappy to look for a role, because that's when it does become really difficult.
Yeah, you're not feeling confident about yourself at that point either. You start to dip. So actually, on that kind of, I would say, every 6 months, review your own progress. Where are you in your career? How are you feeling? I love the idea of like a kudos folder. So anytime you've achieved something or someone's emailed something good about you, save a record of it all, because that's also really good for helping you update your CV from a really positive mindset. And that should be an ongoing thing anyway. But also when you get to that point of job hunting, you can look back at it and be like, yeah, I am great. Look at all these things I've done.
I'd like to second that, and I do that. I've got a spreadsheet, a document on my desktop, which I do add when I've done anything great to, and I think it's a fantastic idea. Sorry, Catherine, I cut you off.
No, don't worry. I would also second about finding a really good recruiter, because a really good recruiter will give you feedback. So if you've had an interview and you didn't get it, try your best to get as much feedback as you can from the recruiter you're working with. We try our hardest to get really detailed feedback from clients, and hopefully that includes some positive things, but also something that you can actually work on. So really kind of dig deep and think about that feedback that you've got, and take notice and take it all on board. But at the same time, sometimes you're just going to be just the second choice, or you're just slightly pipped at the post, and it's just really important to try and, it is difficult out there. We all find it difficult. So make sure that you're being good to yourself when you're going for long walks and all those kind of things that people usually tell you to do, but they really work.
They do, actually. And that's something that I do say to people that are stuck in that negative headspace if it's just not going well. Okay, well, focus on the things you can control. So get some exercise, eat healthy, sleep well, binge on Netflix if you need to, because that'll make you feel better. Feel sorry for yourself for an hour, and then pick yourself up and let's see what else is out there. And sometimes it is just a matter of time. I always say it's a bit like dating. Like sometimes it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't connect right. You've just got to keep going, keep being tenacious about it. And what's for you will work for you. You might think it's your perfect job, but if they don't offer it to you, it's probably not your perfect job. So let's find something that is, and trust in yourself and the process, and you'll get there eventually. As long as you keep making those small steps forward, then you will get there eventually.
Fantastic advice. And I mean, the perfect way to wrap up, really. So I've been seeing some amazing questions land in the comments. So just to let you know, we will get back to those comments once we come off the live. We will use those questions for our next live, which will be in 2 months. We'll let you know when that will happen. Keep an eye on our LinkedIn, on the Charity People LinkedIn as well. Please do continue to submit your comments into the question box. We will also leave a link for an anonymous, anyone who wants to submit their comments anonymously or questions anonymously as well. But yeah, thank you so much, Catherine and Dawn, for joining us today on the live as well.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. And I'm looking at some of the questions. Bring on the next chat.
Yeah, we do also have a resource as well, which is staying motivated during your job search, on the back of that last question. So do feel free to have a look at that really useful resource as well. But enjoy the sunshine and see you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.